What is happening? In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 life-changing books that I strongly invite you to read in this year to help you transform your life, transform your self-concept, but also create the life that you desire. Those 5 books have had a phenomenal impact on my life. And we all know that knowledge is power, especially if you apply it. New information can transform your situation. And there's nothing like a new book to guide you on your new path. So I really hope that those 5 books will have the same impact in your life as they had in mine. So with that, let's go straight into this video with the first book. And the first book is The Powerful Phycho-Cybernetic by Maxwell Maltz. This is an older book. I think it came out in the 1960s, so quite a while ago. But even to this day, this remains as one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful book I've ever read. This book in 2018 completely transformed, shifted my life. I was in a place, in a time when I was ready to give up my business. I was ready to give up on everything, right? And I came across this book. It's fair to say that this book found me. And when I started reading it, I had all the aha. I had like a massive transformation in my understanding in what I needed to do to transform my life and why my life was the way it was. And it had all to do with what Dr. Maxwell Maltz talks in his book, the power of your self-image. And when I started reading this book, applying this book, and really going deep into the power of the self-image that I talk about a lot on this channel, it transformed my life. Yeah. And so basically, to give you a bit of a side story on this book, Dr. Maxwell Maltz was a very, very famous plastic surgeon in the 50s, in the 60s, right? And one day he had this weird like feeling of like, why is it that I can do the same surgery, the same plastic surgery on 2 people, have the same phenomenal result on the external, everything looks nice, right? They got a new face or new boobs, so the result is fantastic. They look really, really nice. But for one person, it's going to have a phenomenal effect on their life, on their personality, on their self-image, on their confidence. They're going to completely transform as a result of this plastic surgery. For the second person, they're still unhappy, they're still depressed, they're still anxious, and all they can still see is what's wrong with them. And so for years, it was like he didn't understand why was there such a big result in difference, right? Why was there such a big difference? Until one day he came across the self-image psychology, right? And he started to understand that it's not about the outer reflection. It's about how people saw themselves inside first. Like, what was their relationship with their body first? Because as long as that image inside of them, that emotional scar that he calls, right, has not changed, he will not change the result, no matter how perfect they may look in the mirror. As long as the inner image is still broken or flawed or whatever, it will still make them feel and act and represent and shape their life. So he went on to go deep in self-image psychology and came up with amazing tools. This book is a goldmine, all right? So that's for the first book I strongly invite you to read. And let's go on to the second book, which is The Powerful Letting Go by Dr. David Hawkins. This book is a must-read. This book talks a lot about the power of emotion, but more importantly, how to deal with your emotions. This is something that, if you're like me, you've never been taught. Emotional intelligence, understanding your emotions. Like, I was told that emotion makes you weak, don't show your emotions, like all these type of things, right? But we are never really taught how to deal, especially with negative emotion, with anger, with fear, with shame, with guilt, and the powerful impact that they have on ourselves, especially things like trauma, repressed negative emotion, how they affect addictions and behaviors and thought process, and ultimately what we end up attracting, our personality, who we are, right? So in this amazing book, not only it talks a lot about all those negative emotion and the positive one, the purpose they serve, so you're getting a true understanding of emotions, right? But the most powerful thing that you get from this book is how to let go of all those negative emotions and the thoughts and the patterns that are in us, that are being conditioned, that we've experienced, that we all carry so much with, right? And it's a simple process. That's why the book is called Letting Go. So the book here teaches you how to let go of all of that, set yourself free, break the pattern, and become greater. And really what it helps you do is go further high in the scale of consciousness, if you are familiar with Dr. Hawkins' work. And so I cannot talk highly enough on the importance of this book. So that's for the second book, Letting Go, Dr. David Hawkins. And now let's go into the third book, which is the powerful Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. So this is actually the complete reader, which includes all the books and so on, including Power of Awareness. Now, all of Neville Goddard's books are phenomenal. So, if you want to just pick up this whole book, read the whole thing, you will not be disappointed, right? But if you just want one book to get started with Neville Goddard, Power of Awareness is my all-time favorite. Power of Awareness is, for me, one of the most important read I've ever had. It really shows you the power of your consciousness to shape your reality. And as Neville Goddard says, consciousness always objectifies itself. So it talks again on the power of what he called the self-concept, which is another word for self-image, right? How all those beliefs, all those ideas, all your self-talk, all that subconscious programming is being reflected to you in your external reality. It's what's controlling your life. It's what's manifesting certain things in your life. So he really explained, the power of your self-talk. He talks about the power of your imagination. He talks about all the subconscious program and the need to, expand your awareness, expand your self-talk, expand your belief and your concept of yourself if you want to change your life, if you want to manifest new things. So there's a lot of good information, but also there's a lot of tools. Like it talks a lot on, changing your inner dialogue, your inner conversation, right? Using the power of your imagination to change your self-concept, to reprogram the subconscious mind, to create and manifest what you want. So it's a phenomenal book to start becoming really aware of how your mind, your consciousness, your state of consciousness affects and shapes your reality. And if you link it to book number 1, book number 2, and book number 3, they all work together. Different language, different metaphor, different story, different form of teaching, but they all really talk about the same thing. It's your inner world, your inner program, who you are, how you see yourself, your relationship with yourself and the world that you keep on experiencing, that keeps on shaping and defining your life. So Power of Awareness and any of Neville Goddard's book is a massive, powerful tool to expand your consciousness, to expand your awareness, and to expand your model of reality and how reality actually works and how you can change and shift your reality through personal transformation. All right? And now let's go into book number 4, You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now, I don't own a physical copy. I got it on my Audible, but this is my favorite book of Dr. Joe Dispenza. All his books, again, are great. If you want to pick any of these books, you will not be disappointed, right? But the reason I really love this book and the reason it had a big impact on my life is because this book talks about the power of your mind to heal your body, right? It's really focused on the placebo and the concept of the nocebo. So if you don't know what that is, basically the placebo is, how your positive thought, your positive belief really can affect your health, your immune system, your aging, and how your body responds, right? And how the nocebo, a negative thought or perception or idea about a disease or about an illness or something like that, can also make you sick and refrain you from healing or weaken your immune system. The reason why this book is so good is because it's science-based. Everything it talks about is proven by peer-reviewed science, studies, research. So there is so many stories and examples that have been proved, backed by science. So it's not like just mumbo-jumbo, like maybe a metaphysical book. It's a really science-driven approach by research, by tests, peer review. So you're left with no doubt on how powerful the mind is to either make you sick, right, based on your perception, your belief, your idea, or to heal, to make you strong, to slow down aging, to create the body that you desire, and beyond that, right? So he goes on to talk also about how the mind is programmable, how your perception equals creation, right? If somebody tells you that this new pill is gonna heal you and is gonna save your life because it's the most powerful pill out there, and you accept that idea and it becomes a belief, the body will respond to that, even though it ends up being just sugar pill. But it also talks about negative programming. You may see advertisements, you may see movies, you may get ideas from your peers or from things you read on the internet. And if you accept your ideas, it also becomes part of your perception. And perception equals creation, and we end up living the idea, the belief that we have. So we live what we believe, regardless of the consequences. So this book is a fantastic way to understand how your mind needs to be carefully programmed, that you need to be really careful about what you allow in, and how your body responds to what you hold in your mind, whether this affects you positively or negatively. So You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza is a phenomenal book. And finally, guys, we come to the last one, the fifth book that I recommend you reading this year. And this is Reality Transforming by Vadim Zeland. Again, this is one of the books that I got on Audible, and I actually strongly invite you to listen to the audiobook because there's a nice music, the narration is really, really good. So whether you prefer reading or listening, up to you, whatever, but this is a fantastic book. This book is a 5-book series, so if you read one, you gotta read the whole thing to truly understand the concept. This book offers you a framework to understand reality and to interact with what Vadim Zeland called reality. So it helps you, gives you tools to understand the nature of reality and how you, with your mind, with your thoughts, with your visualization, with your subconscious program, can start changing your life, changing what you call your life path, right? So the book can be quite a bit complex because it talks a lot about energy and quantum field and a lot of technical terms. But if you stick with it, if you take your time to read it, and especially if you apply it, you will see that it's one of the most powerful books you can ever read. A lot of the concepts, if you read the book 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll be quite familiar. There'll be different terms, different words, different experience, different way to explain the same thing. But if you connect everything points to the same laws, to the same rules, to the same really way of explaining how reality works, how the mind creates your reality, how your thoughts and your emotions and your ideas and your belief end up shaping your life, right? So in this book, what I really like, there's 3 main concepts that for me were really, really important. The first one was the concept of importance. The moment you put too much importance, you put something or someone on a pedestal, now you start to put too much force, too much pressure. You're basically trying to force things, and as a result, you end up slowing the process or you end up attracting the opposite. So the concept of releasing importance is one of the core fundamentals in this book, right? Letting life bring you what you need, letting life inspire you to take action and so on. So that's the first thing. The second one is the mirror principle. Life is a mirror, always reflecting back to you the content of your own consciousness, what's happening in you, what you hold in your mind. This is something I talk a lot about in this channel, right? I've made a lot of videos, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time here talking about this, but this is such a powerful way to understand your reality, but also to take accountability and to start changing things by simply looking at what is life reflecting back to me over and over and over again, and how am I creating that? And the last point again is really how to just visualize, plant those ideas in your mind and let them go out there so that you become a conscious creator of your reality instead of letting the old slide, the old ideas, control the way you think, control what you create, setting slides, what Vadim Zeland calls slides or image in your mind, and how those pictures, if you anchor them and if you energize them and if you bring them back always, but then you end up releasing importance, things become so much easier. Alright guys, so this is for the 5th book, Reality Transforming by Vadim Zeland. Phenomenal resource, phenomenal framework to create the life and the reality that you desire. So that's it for this list. That's it for those 5 life-changing books that will help you transform your reality, transform yourself, and to help you really create whatever it is that you want in your life. And so that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment. If you have any book recommendation for me, write them down in the comment as well. I'm looking forward to hear from you guys. As always, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time in my next video. Be well.